are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. What if I told you that the guy you like is actually interested in you? But what if I also told you, without an understanding of exactly what those signs are, because they're so subtle, it will be impossible to know for sure? Which is exactly why on today's show, we're going to be discussing 6 micro signs men show when they're really into you. That way, you can avoid playing this emotional guessing game, trying to understand how he really feels about you. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. How are all of you beautiful people doing today, okay? Who we got up in the TikTok chat? I see we got Barbara here. We got Leah here. Goose is here. Michelle is here. Aset is here. Lynn is here. Erica is here. Okay, Kayla T is here. Valerie is here. Zyra is here. And of course, we have our 3 moderators in the TikTok chat, Scotty, Sharice, and SH. Welcome all you beautiful people. Who we got up in the YouTube chat? I see we got Fire is here. Irina is here. Kayla is here. Mary is here. Let me scroll up, make sure I get some of our members here. Jazz is here. Okay, welcome Jazz. Okay, Flower is here. Lola is here. We got Great Fortune Cookie is here as well. Welcome, 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 all of you beautiful people and all the new people. All right, let's get started today, and we shall hop right into our first one, our number 1 over here. Okay. Now, I'm going to warn you of something very important that I want you to take notice of, okay? Very important. Do not come here today expecting me to give you answers about the signs that he likes you, like, oh, when he smiles at you in class, that means he likes you, okay? When he kisses you on the forehead, that means he likes you. We're not talking about the super obvious stuff that anyone would be able to surmise that that person likes you. We're going to be talking about real subtleties, like emotional subtleties that sometimes can be confused with a guy just being nice to you. So I'm kind of helping to be that bridge for you, all right? So let's start off with number 1 here. Okay, all righty. Number 1, key, the inconvenience, okay? Now, what I want you to take notice of when you're dealing with guys, or if you're trying to kind of decipher and decode, does he like me? Is he interested in me? Or is this just him being nice? Whenever a guy is going out of his way for you, especially when in the process of him going out of his way for you, it's actually going to make his life harder, that's always going to be a micro sign that he likes you. So let me give you a clear example of what I mean here, okay? So let's imagine you have your cute little car right here, all right? What car do you guys want to be driving, all right? Well, we want to make it something nice, but not too nice, okay? We'll say you drive what? We'll say you drive a Chevy, okay? It's okay, nothing wrong with the Chevy, right? You drive a nice little Chevy, right? So there's your little Chevy sign on your car, all right? Someone said Audi, maybe in the next example. So you drive a Chevy and you use that Chevy to get yourself all the way to work, okay? Nothing abnormal about that. Now, let's imagine that you take the Chevy and it's been reliable for you for the past, 2-3 years. You've never had an issue with it. But now, all of a sudden, you're having an issue with your Chevy. The transmission's all weird. You don't know what's going on. And your car breaks down, okay? So you no longer have this Chevy to take to work anymore, even though that's been your main car, not giving you any problems for the past couple of years. So this man that you've been talking to for let's not even say talk to, because remember, these are micro signs, so you don't even know yet, right? So let's just say a friend of yours, right? A friend of yours notices, right, because you're telling him about your life and stuff, and you're like, oh, I've been having to take Ubers the past couple of days to work because my Chevy Cruze broke down. And he's like, oh, Missy, I have a proposition for you. You see, I drive this, maybe you might have heard of this car before. It's called a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. I don't know if you've heard of that one before. I don't know if you've seen that one on TV or Instagram, right? I drive a G-Wagon. And, you know, I use that car to take to work. That's my main car. I love it. Nice, lots of space, you know, not good on gas, but who cares? And I take my car to work as well. But, you know, since your car broke down, I feel bad for you. I want to make sure, like, you're spending a lot of money on Ubers just to go back and forth from work. That doesn't make any sense. So I'll take myself to work, and don't worry about it. It's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal. I'll take me to work, and I'll take you to work. Okay? Now, the reason I want to kind of make you aware of this is because sometimes when guys will offer these type of things to you, you can start to feel in your mind and think to yourself, yeah, that does sound like, you know, if it's kind of like on your way, or, you know, if you have the ability to, I get it, we're friends, and you want to do something nice for your friend. And so you might start thinking to yourself, maybe this guy is just being nice to me. It's not, you know, an expression of him having romantic feelings for me or liking me. Now, let's add a little bit more context to this, because context will always matter in our examples and what I'm trying to portray to you. Now, let's actually look at a map. Okay, we're not going to get too depth into geography here, but let's imagine that, you know, you guys live in the same city. So your home is here. And he lives close to you, so it's easy for him to pick you up and carpool you, take you on the way to work. And your work, right, you work, is over here. So let's make this like a big map, okay? And his work, right, is over here. So in order for him to get to work, he's got to go over here to drop you off first. Then he's got to come over here to drop you off, okay? So let's say it takes 20 minutes to get here to your work, but if he were just to go straight to work, it would also only take him 20 minutes. But now that he's dropping you off at work as well, it's going to take him 20 minutes to get to your work, then another 20 minutes to get to his work. So now his ETA, well, not, I should say ETA, his commute has just doubled, right? Because now you're not really on the way. He can technically drop you off and then go to work, but the amount of time it's going to take him to get there has just doubled, which means the amount of gas he's going to have to use on every day that he's taking you to work has just doubled, which means he's actually in the process of helping you, making his own life harder. And so this is what I want you to kind of take notice of, right? And I'm not saying that you got to scream from the heavens, I caught your secret, I know that you like me. I just want you to take notice of this and use this as information if you're ever trying to decode or decipher how a guy feels about you. I'm a man, okay? And I'm here to tell you, anytime a man will inconvenience his own life like this for you, even in a way where he says, I got lots of gas, it's not even a big deal. My company pays for it, you know, I get reimbursed, my business, it's not a big deal, I'll drop you off there. I was gonna go and get Skittles from the convenience store beside your work, and they'll dress it up in all these different ways, and you'll be confused thinking, oh, I guess maybe it is. He's just being nice, right? Maybe he just did want the Skittles that are beside my work and not the Skittles that he could get literally anywhere else in the world, okay? I want to let this be known to you. Whenever a guy will inconvenience himself like this for you, it's not for no reason. Why? Because men, while sometimes they will approach relationships with a lack of intention, when they take action, it's not for no reason. Right? So when they do take action, whether it be in your friendship or, you know, whatever it may be in your relationship, whatever, it's always because he has something behind that intention, right? If he's inconveniencing himself, it's not because, you know, he just casually wants to do something nice for his friendy friend. It's because he actually has some sort of romantic feelings for you, okay? Guys don't do any of this inconveniencing for no reason. So let that be known in your mind so that you're not confused. Oh, is he just being nice? No, he actually has feelings for you. Now, Whether or not he's going to express those feelings, be honest about those feelings, or be upfront and actually, build a relationship out of that, we don't know yet. But that we do know that he does have some romantic feelings for you, because men don't be doing stuff like this for no reason. All right. Okay. So does that make sense to you guys so far? All right. That's the number one micro sign. These are in no particular order, but that's just number one there. Okay. If a guy's driving you to work, don't let him convince you that it's just because he's a great friend to you. Trust me, I'm a man. He has some feelings for you. Don't confuse yourself. Okay, I know that it can be confusing a little bit. All right. Now, number two is this is gonna be kind of funny. All right, I won't lie. This is gonna be kind of funny. Okay, I'm going to explain this because this is going to be a little bit confusing when I first start discussing this. Lingering is a thing that guys will, I don't even want to say they purposely do it. They subconsciously do it when they're thinking of you. So their body language, the way they position themselves in a room will kind of represent that. So let me give you an example of what I mean. And this is pretty funny to me because I see this all the time at the gym, okay? So let's imagine you're over here. Let's say you're here, your big dump truck sitting over here, and wait, we gotta draw you a big booty because you got a big old booty, okay? We gotta draw you a big one, all right? And you're sitting here at the squat rack, okay? You're at the gym. And you're at the squat rack, getting your bench press in. Oh, is your booty on the back? Whatever, you get the point. You're at the squat rack. And, let's say you go to a really big gym. You go to like a Good Life Fitness or something like that, all right? And at this gym, there's so much space, so many different squat racks, so many different things to do. And let's just say for the sake of argument that, there's this one guy at the gym that you always notice every time you go to the squat rack or you go to do RDLs or you go to do Romanian deadlifts, whatever it is that you're doing, okay? You notice that at the squat rack, he'll come to the squat rack, right next to you. So he's at the squat rack right next to you, and he'll do something like, he's over here, right? He's a stick figure. He needs to work on his workout routine. He comes over here and he does something like toe curls, okay? So he's over here doing toe curls at the squat rack. And you're just kind of like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's not even why does he need the squat rack to do toe curls? He's just sitting here doing toe curls, doing calf raises, doing all type of stretching. You'd be like, that's what the mats are for. Why are you doing all type of stretching and gymnastic on the squat rack? Don't you see a whole bunch of other people waiting to use the squat rack that actually want to use the squat rack? Okay, so this is for a very interesting reason, okay? And this is why I call it micro signs, because when you notice it now, while we're talking about it, it'll be easier to notice. See, guys do this thing. When they like a girl, they will try to put themselves in your vicinity as if they want to be seen by you. Why? Because every opportunity that they are close to you here, it gives them an opportunity to possibly talk to you. Whether it be because maybe he needs your weight, right, in this scenario, whether it be because, oh, I remember you, I see you here all the time. Because if he's too far from you, right, like let's just say in this example, he's on the other side of the gym here, he has no opportunity, right, no chance to talk to you or strike a conversation with you, right? Because when he's this far and he's so removed from you, the possibilities of him bumping into you, of you seeing him, of you noticing him will be way less likely. So guys will do this thing because they're so focused on you, subconsciously they want to position themselves in a place where there's an opportunity to have conversation with you, even if they don't actually know you and have never spoken to you. So they'll position themselves on a regular basis to be seen by you, even if they don't approach you. This is why I say it's a micro sign, because not every time that he lingers in your area will he actually even approach you in person. And a lot of times when this is going to be a micro sign, he's just going to linger there, and it's going to look like you're going to feel like, I feel like you wanted to say something, or I feel like you're like trying to communicate something to me, but you just never come up to me, okay? And trust me, this feeling, I'm here to tell you, this feeling that you feel, or this confusion that you feel where you're thinking to yourself, I feel like you want to say something. It's not an accident that you feel that way. There's a reason for it, and I'm telling you that you're not confused, right? He's actually doing something called lingering. He's lingering so that you can see him, you can notice him, and maybe a possibility of a conversation could strike out of nowhere. I give you guys a gym example because I see this at the gym all the time. Okay, whenever there's an attractive girl at the gym, everyone always finds their little, oh, I need to do behind the heads over here where she's doing her, her RDLs. Yeah, I got to do over the heads here, right? They look for anything to be in that vicinity, right? I'd be there. I'd be doing all my same workouts. So I know when other people are deviating from their regular workout. All right, I'd be observant, right? And this is what people do naturally. They're not doing it maliciously, but it's just a natural thing where they want to be seen by the person that they're attracted to. So they're going to put themselves in a position to be seen by that person, okay? Right? Someone said it's not this is them, they also come where you live. It also applies to other situations other than the gym, of course, right? This lingering can be happening at a party, right? This lingering could be happening in your community, wherever you live, in your apartment building, could be happening at work, okay? That could even be happening there, right? So just take notice of that when you start to notice, hey, every time I sit down over here, or I'm over here, or I'm in this position, I find that on accident, he always happens to be in the same room as me, in the same area as me, on the same floor as me. Quite a coincidence, isn't it? Because I'm not thinking about how to position myself in his area, but somehow we always magically end up in the same area, okay? Someone said, Thompson be gathered all the tea and not working out. No, I'd be working out, but I also be observant, okay? I'm a very observant person. I like to take in what people are doing, okay? I literally saw that at the gym this morning when I went to the gym, so it's very interesting to observe that. All right, so that's number 2, all right? Let's go up into number 3 here, all right? We got 6 to do, okay? That one was pretty funny. And when you start to notice this one more, it'll be funny to you because you'll be like, oh yeah, I see what's going on here, okay? Trust me, your intuition is always trying to speak to you. It's just a matter of understanding what it's actually saying. All right? Let's hop into number 3 here, all right? 3 is dislike. Now, I'm actually not referring to dislike of you. That would be pointless. That would be kind of defeat the purpose of today's show. The dislike I'm discussing is how people that like you, we'll talk about men specifically in this case, the men that like you will start to mirror your feelings about other people. Okay, let's give a little bit of an example of that, okay? So let's say you and, so your man's here, your man, a man for now, and you are here, right? And let's say you got some other friends around, okay? You got this friend and whatever friend, right? You got your friends all around here going out in a friend group, okay? Because you don't know if he likes you. You're not sure how he actually feels about you. And let's just say for the sake of example, when you guys go out, you see this girl named Jane. Now you're probably wondering, what significance does Jane have? Jane is your coworker, okay? And Jane, the coworker, is the girl that you despise, all right? She always undermines you at work. She's always causing drama at work. She's always gossiping and trying to get you in trouble at work. And so you have told this guy, right, that you're not sure if he likes you, you've told him about Jane. You've also told him about how she backstabbed you. You've told him about how she's went and told your boss on you and gotten you in trouble. You've told him all the stories about you and Jane. So here's something interesting that I want you to take notice of. Let's imagine in this scenario that that your man, the man that you're wondering if he likes you or not, he actually sees Jane. And his response is, oh, she's disgusting. You want to know who I just seen when we were going out? I just saw Jane. She's literally gross. Yep, I promise you, she's gross. She was like stumbling all over the place, looking nasty, looking messy. I don't like her either. I see why you hate her. And you're like, damn, what did Jane do to you? I don't know why do you hate Jane so much? I mean, she's my coworker. Why do you dislike Jane so much? Now, this is the key. And this is what I want you to take notice of, right? See, when someone likes you, when a guy likes you, and you tell him about how someone else has wronged you, how someone else has disrespected you or walked all over you, and he actually has feelings for you, he's going to start to feel like, oh, that makes me angry that someone did that to you. Now, obviously, when he's not your boyfriend, it's a little bit inappropriate to be like, oh, I defend you, I'm your man type of thing. But guys can't help but feel a little bit protective over you if they have some feelings towards you. So even though his coworker isn't Jane, and even though he's never met Jane, all of a sudden he's going to share, when he does meet Jane, he's going to share that same dislike that you have for Jane, because he likes you, and he feels connected to you, and he feels protective over you, that he starts to mirror your dislike of her. So even though Jane hasn't done anything to him, he feels like Jane has wronged him because Jane has wronged you. Okay, there's a very interesting kind of psychology behind that. And because he feels romantic feelings towards you, he feels like anyone that wrongs you has essentially done the same to himself. It's like you're one and the same, you're interchangeable. So this is a good thing to take notice of, because if you're starting to notice that the people that you don't like, that guy automatically stands and says, yeah, I don't like that person either, or they somehow find reasons to dislike them because you don't like them, they're starting to either feel protective over you or starting to feel feelings for you that is leading them to share in your disdain for the same people, right? It's very hard to like someone when the person that you love or care about really dislikes them, because you're naturally inclined to feel the same way as them or see the same bad qualities in them that your partner does, right? It's just a natural occurrence of things that happen. So take notice of that if you're out with a guy or you're noticing that the same people that you tell him you have a problem with, all of a sudden he develops a problem with. Even if he never confronts Jane in this scenario, doesn't go up to her, doesn't yell at her or anything like that, he just reports back to you that he saw Jane and starts dissing her. And you're like, damn, I'm supposed to be the one dissing Jane because I work with Jane, okay? Does that make sense to you guys so far, right? Something to take notice of, very small, very micro, but I want you guys to see that and notice that, right? Okay? Someone said, Jane, he's talking about you. You guys are funny, all right? Now, do you guys have any questions about any of the three we've discussed so far? I want to make sure that we're all on the same page, okay? Someone said, I feel bad for all the Janes in the chat. Are there any Janes in the chat? Oh, Jane Ramirez up in the chat, okay? Not you, Jane, a different Jane, all right? A different coworker, Jane. All right, let's move on to point number 4, okay? Point number 4 is one that you will only notice if you are asking a lot of questions. Well, you're a curious type of person, okay? So let's write this one down. Point number 4. Okay. Excuse me. Point number 4, asking friends. So let's imagine that you are here. And let's say, for the sake of example, you are out with this guy and some of your friends, some of his friends, whatever, right? And there's a group of all of you here jumbled up. You got some of your friends over here, right? Some of his friends over here. It's like a big group of people, okay? And let's imagine that this guy is over here as well, right? And you've got your friend, right? And another one of your friends, okay? And when you're, let's say, going to the bathroom or just away from the group, right? Maybe not presently here by next to the group. In the process of you guys all hanging out, he goes up to your friends and he starts asking them questions about you. Now, these specific type of questions should let you know that something's going on and he actually kind of likes you. What he's going to start asking your friends, and this is where you want to kind of get the report of what was going on. It's always good to step away and notice some things. What he's going to start asking of your friends, he's going to start asking them things like, oh, so what does she like? Okay, in general, what is she interested in? What are like the, what are her hobbies? What are the things that she finds, the most exciting in life, right? Because what he's trying to do, okay, unbeknownst to you, is he's trying to gather info and intel on how to impress you, okay? So he might not come out and ask, hey, what does she love in a man and a boyfriend that I can be that so that she can like me? What he's gonna ask is a lot more subtle and a lot more vague, and just ask and try and get a general sense of what you're interested in, what you like, and what you want out of life and things like that. So that he understands from, a firsthand perspective via your friends, what you're interested in and how he should present himself if he wants to be interesting to you, okay, right? Because he wants you to like him. Oh, why am I drawing that like that? And in order for you to like him, right, he wants to understand how can he position himself so that you can like him in the ways and in the realms that you generally like guys. And who would be the people in your life that would have most of that information? It would be your friends. So what I want you to do is, whenever you do get a chance to step away from the group and take a moment away from him and leave him with your friends, I want you to come back. If you're questioning, does he like me? Is he interested in me or not? I want you to question your friends and ask them, what did he ask, or what did he say? What did he mention? If he's asking a lot about you and your interests, or trying to better understand what you want or what you like, then that's a sign that he's trying to figure out how he can position himself so that you're interested in him, so that you like him, and so that you want him. And some guys will do this in a way that is so vague that it seems friendly, okay? They might just say, oh, so tell me, since you've been knowing, Maria, what is she like? What does she like to do? What are her hobbies? Where does she like to go, right? It sounds innocent, but a lot of the times what they're doing is gathering intel. Because when your friends tell them, what do you like? Where do you like to go? Where do you like to hang out? What are your favorite things to do? What type of gifts do you like? What type of presents do you like? What type of things have you been wanting, right, out of life or just in general? All of that information he can then use to make himself look like the perfect man for you. But sometimes you might not realize that when he's asking those questions, and you might just think it's all meant to be an innocent thing, okay? I'm here to tell you, guys don't take actions for no reason. So when they're trying to gather intel from your friends about you, it's not just for the purpose of, oh, we're just all friends and we're just all friendly and I'm just asking just to ask, okay? That's intel. And remember, I always say the person with the most information always wins, okay? All right, let's move on to number 4, okay? What's that number? No, this is number 4. Let's move on to number 5, okay? All right, let's move on to number 5. 5, 5, 5. Point number 5. Okay. Point number 5 is going to be, make sure I do the right one because I kind of skipped one. Okay, I'll do this one and then I'll go back to the other one. Okay. Okay. We'll do this one and then I'll do the one that I skipped as number 6. All right. So number 5 is going to be unnecessary help. Okay. So what you're going to notice is when guys are actually liking you, they're interested in you, but you just don't know it yet. They're going to go out of their ways to help you in ways that you didn't even ask for help. Okay, sounds very confusing. Let me explain it to you in a example. We're going to do another gym example, okay? Today's gym day, all right? We're going to do a gym example of how this kind of works in theory, okay? So let's say you're over here and there's a little bit of we'll just say a wall over here, right? So wall. And you're here and you're approaching the wall and you're about to do something over at this wall, okay? You got your big old dump truck here, and you're at this wall in part of the gym, okay? Let's just describe it like that. This guy comes over to you, and he's like, hey, I noticed you're over here at the wall, and I'm here. This is going to sound really funny. Let's just say for the sake of example, in this example, he sees you at the wall. And he notices that when you're at the wall, right, that you look like you're getting ready to do a particular exercise. So he comes over and he's like, oh, here's your 90-pound. Okay, here's your 90-pound dumbbell because I know it looks like you're probably about to do RDLs, and I see that you're always doing RDLs. RDLs is just this one where you kind of bent over. It's like kind of like a bent over row, right? It's for the hamstrings and the booty. And I noticed that, you're going over the wall. You usually do RDLs, and I have the dumbbell. I feel like this is the one that you use. I was doing shoulder press and a tricep thing, and I'm about to put this away anyway. So I was just, if you wanted this, I was gonna, instead of me putting it back on the rack, cause the rack's all the way over here, right? Like, and I didn't want you to have to, put all the weights back on the rack over here. I felt like me giving this to you when you were already gonna go get it was like, well, like, it just made more sense, like, cause that way you were about to do the RDLs, right? And you're like sitting there like, no, I wasn't about to do RDLs. I was actually just stretching out my hamstrings because I'm about to do split leg squats. And I was setting up my bench to do split leg squats on this wall over here. And he's like, oh, yeah, my bad. I was just thinking because you usually, when I see you here, you usually do the RDL. So I was thinking I would come and just give you the weight instead of putting it back. It's okay, my bad. Yeah, it's all good, right? And this is the thing that can sometimes be confusing again, because you start to think, oh, well, he was just offering me the weight, probably because, I do RDLs, and probably because I am always usually over here when I'm about to do that exercise. So he's just being nice, knowing that. What a nice guy. Guys don't do that for no reason, okay? All right, he likes you. He has feelings for you, I'm telling you right now, okay? Right? Guys don't offer what we would describe as unnecessary help for no reason. I want you to understand that. They're only offering that level of unnecessary help that you never ask for because They want to strike a conversation with you. They want to, get this thing snowballing, get this thing rolling. And hopefully this process of him giving you a necessary help can lead to a conversation. I know it sounds very silly, but you have to understand, for guys, it can be a bit nerve-wracking to actually just approach you and say, oh, I like you, I'm interested in you, I want to take you out on a date. So a lot of guys are going to try to use these different ways that seem very silly and very trivial to start a conversation with you, okay? As an icebreaker, like Sexy Red said, right? So take notice of that, because that's not an accident and it's not a coincidence, okay? Now, it's good for the guys because when they approach you like this, it makes it seem like, oh no, I don't care if you're single or want to go on a date, because I'm just approaching you because I actually thought you needed this barbell for your RDLs, not because I like you, I think you're attractive. It's literally because I wanted to help you with your RDLs. Don't be fooled, okay? I know everyone will have you believe that they're only doing things, especially the guys, will have you believe that they're only doing things because they're nice. No. Majority of the time, they're doing it because they're interested in you, they're attracted to you, they like you, and they're trying to, build something here. And sometimes their way of building it is by having silly conversations about seemingly nothing at all. Okay? Does that make sense? Someone says, mention all 5. I missed them. Don't worry. They're all available on my YouTube page. Just type in my name on YouTube because I'm live there at the same time as I'm live here, and you can get all of the amazing information there as well. Okay? Right? Now, let's hop into number 6, okay? Make sure I do number 6 right. All right. Number 6 is funny. We took some, I took some inspiration in my example for number 6 from yesterday's Discord message. But it is true in everything that we're talking about, because this can apply to many different situations, okay? So, number 6. Okay, now let's imagine for number 6, we're doing schedule here. Now, schedule is very interesting because what I want you to take notice of is whenever you're wondering if a guy is interested in you, take notice of his regular everyday schedule, meaning what he does on a regular everyday basis. And take notice if that changes based on, now that he's starting to talk to you and now that, he might be starting to have feelings for you. Let me give you a little bit more of a clear example. So let's say there's, you're in university and you have a library schedule. Now we're just giving an example here, and I want you to kind of apply this in any situation that you're in, all right? So let's say on your weekly, your weekly library schedule, okay? Oh, you need one more. Put 2 here. Okay? Let's say on your weekly library schedule, so let's say this is Sunday. And you get my drift, okay? So let's say your weekly library schedule, you go to the library on Monday, on Wednesday, and on Friday, okay? Now, let's kind of go through his week here. Now, let's, for all intensive purposes, assume that he regularly only goes to the library on Friday and Tuesday, okay? Now, let's say for the sake of example, one of these Fridays, you guys meet at the library, right? He sees you, you see him, you've seen him around campus, you guys share a class together, okay? And he strikes up a conversation with you. Oh, I see you in my Chem 101 class. I see you in my this class, my whatever class. And you guys have a conversation. Oh, what day do you usually come? Oh, I usually come on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And he's like, oh, I be trying to come to the library more, but I just don't be having time. I'm usually only here on Fridays, and sometimes I'll go on a Tuesday. Okay? Now, let's imagine that was your conversation, and then you guys go about your day, do your thing. And then let's imagine on Monday, you go into the library, and lo and behold, who do you see? You see him. But wait a second. Your days to go to the library is Tuesday and Friday. So you ask him, why are you here on a Monday? You said the last time that we spoke that you never come on Mondays, you come on Tuesdays and Fridays. And he says, oh, I'm doing this thing where, since I'm trying to go to the library more, I decided to try and come more throughout the week. And so now I just thought, Monday was the best time to start. I got to start early in the week and make sure that I'm here on time and paying attention. I want to take my study seriously. So I'm here on Monday. And then all of a sudden, when you go on Wednesday, again, you see him. Okay? And you're wondering the same thing. And his explanation, again, is, oh, I'm trying my best to move this forward and make sure that I'm in class. So now I'm trying to go every day of the week. He's not. Okay? What he's trying to do is make sure that he can catch you at the library. Now, what I want to kind of give you and help you understand with this, whenever a guy starts making all of these rapid adjustments to his schedule, right? Or sacrificing, the time that he usually would take out to do something, to kind of do something else that's more aligned with you and what your schedule is. Anytime a guy is changing or adjusting that to be more aligned with your schedule, that's a sign that he likes you. Because now what he's trying to do is he's trying to catch you out more often, whether it be out at the library or at a party or at wherever you spend your time, so that he can see you more often, so that you can have conversation more often. Once again, this is a micro sign because sometimes when guys like you, rather than just asking you out on a date, they're going to do all of this slick stuff to try to create more opportunities for you guys to have conversation that maybe eventually it will turn into something. I know it sounds a little bit trivial. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but I do want you to know that this isn't an accident, okay? So the same thing can apply whether it's the library, whether it's work, whether it's, friendships, whether it's wherever you hang out. Whenever you start to notice that a guy is spending a lot of time in the places that you usually spend your time after realizing that you spend your time there, it's not a coincidence, okay? Right? Especially if you're starting to catch this all the time, okay? Right? And it can be very, very important to notice, right? Because when you combine these things with him adjusting and changing his schedule, then when he is there, he's kind of lingering around you. He's kind of in your vicinity. You kind of look up, and I should have even put catching a look. You kind of look up and you kind of see him looking over in your direction. Okay, that's another one of those things. Guys will always be kind of positioning their body and positioning, where they're looking in your direction if they like you. Okay, I really should have put that as like a bonus number 7. So we'll even say that, right? Because guys, when they are interested in you, they're always trying to figure out how can I be sneaky and put myself, I'm right here. Do you see me? I'm right here. I'm just working out though, but I'm right here. I'm like right in front of your eye line. They'll be like right in front of the squat rack where you're working out. Oh yeah, I'm right. It's just casual. It's just a bicep. Do you see that? Yeah. You get my drift. Okay. Right? Very sneaky. All right. So do you guys have any questions about any of the 5 that we just discussed here today and why they're so important and what to be looking out for? Okay. All right. Hetty said, what's 1 to 3, please? You could just rewind it. Just rewind it. Okay. Someone said and for those of you in the TikTok chat that want to rewatch all of the 6 points because you missed them or you missed all of them, that go onto my YouTube channel. It's just above my head on the top right corner of the screen. You type in my name, Tomisin Atobatele, and you'll see me live there at the same time. You can go and you can rewatch all of the points, right? Rewind them and do all that good stuff. Right? Christine says, what if it's from someone we're not interested in? How can we kindly get rid of them? Well, getting rid of someone and, identifying if they like you, those are two totally different things. And the easiest way to get rid of someone, in my own opinion and estimation, simply put, is to stop feeding them any sort of energy. So you can't say you want to get rid of someone and then reply to their messages. You can't say you want to get rid of someone and, talk to them when they come up to you. You can't say you want to get rid of them and interact with them in any way, shape, or form, okay? If you want to get rid of someone or you don't want to speak to them anymore because either they're bothering you or making you uncomfortable, you feed them absolutely no energy whatsoever. And sometimes that mistake can be made where you're thinking, oh, well, I don't want to be mean, so I'm still going to reply to his messages even though I don't want to talk to him. It doesn't work like that, okay? If you don't want to talk to someone, you feed them no energy. All right. Flower says, we don't tell them or show them or anyone else that we own them. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be, when you identify that this is happening, you don't need to let him know that you know this. You can just operate under the knowing that you know this and then go about it how you feel is necessary to go about it, right? So Mello says, how do I let them down nicely when they finally communicate that they actually like me? Are you saying that if he actually says, okay, I like you, I'm interested in you, then what do you say? I mean, if you're not interested, then you just let them know you're not interested, right? You don't if you're not interested in a guy, chat, you don't owe them anything. So once you're not interested in a guy, you just tell them straight up, yeah, appreciate you saying that, but I'm not interested, right? And you just tell them straight up. You don't have to sugarcoat it. You don't got to make it sound nice. You don't got to massage it. Just tell them you're not interested. It's very simple. All right. You're not a bad person because you're not interested in certain people that might approach you. Okay. Does that make sense? No problem if you're not interested. Just make sure you're clear with that. You don't got to sugarcoat stuff for people. Someone says, what if he says these things, right, or does these things, but he never says anything? Well, here's the thing. And actually, I'm glad that you sent that message, Sierra, okay? If a guy does all of these things, you identify them, and then you're asking yourself, well, okay, now I know for sure he's into me. What do I do with this information? You do nothing. Excuse me. Now, I know that sounds, well, Tomisin, why would I do nothing after I have this information and I know that he likes me? You do nothing because you're a woman who wants to be in your feminine energy. So if a guy will show all these signs of liking you, but not take action on it from the standpoint of actually saying, yeah, I think you're interesting and I want to take you out on a date, it's not your job to say, hey, I can sense that you like me, so why don't you ask me out on a date? What you can do, though, is you can reciprocate energy. So, for example, when he's doing these things like aligning his schedule with yours, lingering around you, trying to start conversation, you can reciprocate his energy. So if he does approach you or go out of his way to help you, you can reciprocate that energy by being like, oh, I appreciate that, doing a little bit of flirting and things like that when you interact with him. But you're not in the business of saying, hey, I see that you like me, so this is your opportunity to ask me out on a date, because then you're doing the work for him and you're being the man. You're never in the business of doing that. If you like the guy and you identify that he likes you as well, you're still going to stay put. You have information now, and you're going to stay put and say to yourself, if he ever gets the courage to act on this and actually ask me out or make this romantic, he will do that. But you're not going to sit around and be like, oh, well, now that I know he likes me, I want to do something about it. Don't do that, okay? Because that will mean that you're pursuing, you're approaching, and you're the one progressing this forward. You have to leave it for the men to progress this forward. So Crystal says, dang, I was going to flash him. That's funny. You're funny, okay? Right? Someone says, what if it works all the time? What do you mean works all the time? Right? What do you mean by that? Stephanie says, a guy showed interest, but I was in a relationship. Now I'm not. Just leave it as it is. Well, here's the thing. If you have another conversation with him, you can communicate, weave. See, the weave is so important. You can weave it into conversation that, hey, I was in a relationship, now I'm single. I'm not saying that I'm single for you to date me and us to date. I'm just saying I'm single. So do that with that information, what you will. You'll weave that into conversation and then allow him to do with that information what he wants to do with that information, okay? So that's how you would kind of go about that, right? Uh, Ali says a girl tried pursuing my crush and it didn't end well for her, and never pursue a man. I 100% agree. Okay, you can't be pursuing men in any way, shape, or form for any reason whatsoever. Okay. Null said make a surviving a breakup and cut them completely off. Part 2, 3, and 4. I do have a video on how to like set boundaries, and also about like, I guess we could make a whole video about how to properly cut someone off. But I made a video about how to detach, which is kind of like the same thing. But I can make a video about how to properly cut someone off. All right. Does that make sense? Someone says, guy makes time for me every week, plans dates, but is bad at calling me. Does it matter? I mean, it matters if you need him to call you every day. If he's planning dates, I mean, you're trying to date the person who will actually see you in person, correct? You're not trying to date the person who's the best texter or phone caller, correct? So you got to make sure that your energy is focused in the right place. If he doesn't call you that much, but he's good at planning the actual date and scheduling it and sticking to it, that is honestly better than being able to call you all the time and never be able to plan the date, because a lot of people are in that position, and in that position, you can't get anywhere in the relationship. Okay. Does that make sense? All right, chat. Oh, by the way, for those of you guys, because I know it won't be possible for me to get to everyone's question. For those of you guys who have a question for me, I answer everyone's questions, okay? I don't want you to think you get left out here. I answer everyone's questions. But in order for you to get your question to me, what you need to do, whether you're on TikTok or on YouTube, you go to our Discord, and then you go to our relationship advice section, and you ask your question. Literally at the end of our show, I'm doing a Q&A to answer all of your questions about all of your individual situations. So don't think I'm ever ignoring you. Everyone's question can get answered. So those of you who are on TikTok, because TikTok people be having lots of questions, and those of you on YouTube, if you're on TikTok, go to the link in my bio on TikTok. Go when you click the link in my bio, go to where it says the Discord, join our Players Club Discord, and then go into our relationship advice section and ask your question there, because I answer everyone's question. Might take me a little bit of time, but I answer everyone's questions, and I do it live on the show. So make sure you go and put your question in there so that when I get to the Discord section, we're gonna get this rolling and I'll answer your question, okay? So go into my link in my bio on TikTok and click that link and go into our Discord, ask your question in relationship advice, the relationship advice forum. For those of you on YouTube, you do that by going into the link in my description and then just clicking the Discord there, all right? We're gonna hop into our next segment of the day, which is our React segment. Our React segment is gonna be where I react to TikTok videos that you guys have sent me about relationships and situationships and things of that nature. And while I clean up and get ready for our React segment, spam up your headphone emojis, your baby oil emojis, your camera recorder emojis, and we're gonna hop into our React segment. While I clean up, we're gonna watch an intermission video that comes from a YouTube creator named Farine Ash. Today she's gonna be talking to you guys about how masculine men love independent women. So Farine.
It's really important to maintain independence in a relationship when you are dating a masculine energy man, because when you're dating a man that's more in his masculine energy, he is going to be integrated in himself. That means that he is also going to have a very balanced life. Integrated means that although he also has the feminine component in him, it will look like love and stability. He's going to want that commitment and that reassurance with a woman. There's the stability there. The healthy masculine energy man wants stability, wants a wife, wants to be with one person, although they're integrated, meaning that because they're more balanced in their energy and they have a secure attachment style, they also have other things going on. They're able to be with you. They can recognize the need to be with a woman, especially a feminine energy woman, but they also have other things going on in their life. This is what makes a man healthy in his masculine energy. Men that are in their masculine energy need other things in their life aside from a woman, aside from partnership, to make them feel whole and complete. Testosterone is created and built and maintained through doing things and through independence. And when a man is with a woman, his testosterone can go down a little bit because there's oxytocin chemicals that are also activated when a man is with a woman. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing because that's how we bond. But he's also going to need that independence to feel free. In a relationship, it's very important to create space. If we do not create space in a long-term partnership, what's going to happen is you're going to find that your partner is going to pull away from you. He is going to not even want to be around so much, because sometimes the more that a man is asserting his independence, the more that a woman might become very needy and now emotionally reactive and is wanting more from the man. If we do not learn how to meet our own needs as a woman, we are not going to be able to have a healthy dynamic with a masculine energy man, because as I said, masculine energy men require freedom. It is a tenet of masculinity to be free. And if they feel trapped at all in a relationship, and trapped can look like emotionally trapped, physically trapped could be that the woman is always getting upset when he is going out or doing other things that don't involve the woman. If he feels any of this, what happens is he feels a lot of pressure, and the way that a man is going to regain himself is to pull away. The healthy feminine is going to require closeness and connection, and when a man is pulling away or taking space or doing things that make him a man, if she's not secure in who she is, she's going to grab onto him to get that emotional need of connection met. This is why it's very important to do your inner work before you enter into a relationship, because when you enter into a relationship without having learned to meet your own needs, you're never going to have a fulfilling relationship. Now, in my channel, I talk about the masculine feminine energy dynamics. I talk about the natural energies and our true essence as human beings. I very much stress inner work and healing, because I do not come from a space of strategies, because quite frankly, it just doesn't work. If you try to be strategic in anything that I'm saying, it just won't work. A woman is not feminine if she puts heels on, and a man is not masculine just because he sets up a date. These are behaviors, and behaviors can be manipulated. Energy is felt. We can really feel the presence of a masculine energy man, and we can really feel the radiance of a feminine energy woman, because these individuals are leading life through their core essence. Although they have the opposite essence within them, because you cannot be a
Our React segment is gonna start off with this video here. Let's see. Okay. All right, we're starting off here.
That man hates you, part 4. He walks ahead of you in public. That man don't want to be seen with you. Go ahead and go home. That man hates you.
Why is this why is the audio like this? We can barely hear it. Let's go to the next one. I want to do good audio.
Ladies, guys don't pull back on women they like. If he's running from conflict or stops talking to you for a week or pulls back, he doesn't like you. He doesn't want to take you serious. He's not interested in pursuing this thing anymore. He's not trying to get you to chase him. Guys don't play chase games, ladies. They're not, oh, let me pull back, see if she chases me. No, they go after what they're interested in. And they communicate effectively. They resolve conflict effectively. That's what they do. If there's a problem, he'll solve the problem because he likes you. Not because he's trying to get you to, he's trying to pull back to get you to chase him. He ain't you. That's not in his wiring. So if he's not there, if he's pulling back or if he leaves, he doesn't like you. A guy goes a week without talking to you, he's not interested in you. Period. End of story, point blank. Take that all over with that. That's over. If he goes back a month and can't see you or doesn't want to hang out, he's not interested in you. He's not trying to get you to chase. I don't know why we gotta come up here and talk the basics here. This is fundamentals. So, depending on how he deals with conflict is depending how serious you should be taking him. Matter of fact, you should be thanking him for saving you all this time. For showing you that he doesn't like you, man. And that's okay. Save your time, pull your chips back, say I'm gonna take my chips and my talents down to South Beach, and I will find other talent, motherfucker. Ladies, guys don't pull back on...
So Benny's actually right here. if a guy pulls back, they're not in the business of like pulling back to get you to chase. It's usually most of the time just because they're not interested in you. But the important message from that is when you start dating men or you just start seeing them, talking to them casually, you're always trying to gauge what their level of interest is in you. Because if you're not accurately gauging what their interest is in you, then you'll be operating from a standpoint of, oh, he should be doing this and this and this if he really likes me, not realizing he doesn't really like you. He's trying to use you or take advantage of you. And so gauging their level of interest is also about understanding where are you, what position or priority are you in his life? Because you only want to be investing your time and energy into a man who's actually going to put you on the top of the priority list. If he's willing to put you on the bottom of the priority list here or behind a whole bunch of other people and things, then you need to say to yourself, okay, this is someone I shouldn't be investing my time and energy into in the first place. But you have to allow the space for the men to show you where you're at on his priority list so that you can then gauge whether or not you're going to be investing yourself into this man in this relationship. Okay?
If you can have him, you can have him. I don't want that then.
Yeah.
If you can take him from me, then he's yours. I'm good. And I can keep it moving. Be there for my kids, or that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
But like in terms of us, then our story ends. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I still have my life to live. I cannot live my life like I did in my 20s because I did do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, for what? I wasted so many sleepless nights. For what? Did that change how we acted? No. The guys, the girls, whatever, we're going to do what we're going to do. Regardless if you're staying up at night, not sleeping, stalking an Instagram, he's still going to do what he's going to do. He's not going to be like, well, Alex is probably up looking at the club's Instagram, trying to like, zoom into this. That's not going to stop him. So like, what is that? You just lose sleep.
I'm so glad she said this. I'm so glad. And I'm so glad that it came from another woman so it doesn't seem like I'd have to say it. Do not waste your life away having so much anxiety trying to figure out what he's doing or not doing like an FBI agent. It is like a monster. It's a monster that will exist in your mind. And every time you feed that monster to try to figure this out and do this, is he doing this? Is he cheating? Is he being sneaky? Is he talking to this girl? Is he talking to that girl? Every time you feed that monster, it grows and it grows and it grows until eventually you can no longer control it. And just like she said, I guess this is an episode of Call Her Daddy. I don't know who like this person is that's actually talking though. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter from the standpoint of he's still going to do what he was already going to do. So if that means being loyal to you, he was going to do that anyways, and he's still going to do that. If that means cheating on you and going behind your back, he was going to do that, and he was already going to do that. If you're at the point where, oh God, and I know some of you have been there. Let me know in the chat if you've ever been there, okay? If you're at the point where you're looking through the club's Instagram and you're trying to triangulate the Snapchat video story with the Instagram story to see what position he's at in the club, to see if you can get a second angle from somewhere else in the club, to see if you can click on the location of the club on Instagram and see of anyone else who posted of that location on Instagram, to see if you can get different angles of people who don't know him that might have been panning around in the entire club and accidentally cast in front of him so that you can see if a girl was in front of him or if he was talking to another. You only have one life. Only one. And in this one life that you have, there's only a limited amount of time. You don't get more. If you spend that time chasing around Scooby-Doo clues like a maniac, it will not be spent on the most important person in your life, which is you. If you're at the point where you feel the need to do that, to try to catch him in something, you might as well already break up with him. Okay? It's not cool. It's not cute. Like, guys might say, oh, I like me a crazy girl. They like crazy girls because it feeds their ego. They get to have an emotional circle jerk. Oh, she likes me so much. She's crazy. She'll slash my tires and go on my Instagram and triangulate my location. Because it makes them feel like the man. But it makes you look like you're desperate and like you have nothing. Like you have no life, really. Right? So the guys don't actually find it more attractive. They find it more of an ego boost. which once again just puts them in a position of extreme power and puts you in a position of absolute weakness. Don't do it.
So I just saw another creator ask the age-old question. Why is it that people go above and beyond in romantic relationships for people who treat them like shit, and then when someone finally comes along who wants to treat them right, they treat that person like shit in return, right? Like that's the big question. It's the fucking redemption journey, bro. Hear me out. I talk a lot about attachment theory already, and the fundamental principle I think behind that theory is just this. We learn in childhood how to be in adult relationships. Hear me out, because all of this boils down to a redemption journey. A lot of us, I think, received these sort of roles in childhood, right? That says you must perform X, Y, and Z in order to be worthy of love. Sometimes it's tied to gender, right? Young boys are taught to perform masculinity. Young women are taught to perform femininity. But even in gender neutral households, we have this performance of good personhood, right? So like, it doesn't really matter. Regardless, we're handed these roles and we're like, you have to perform this to an adult standard usually in order to be worthy of love. And whenever we don't perform it to an adult standard because we were children, then we're told, see, that's why you're not worthy of love. Not in a literal way though. What does that really look like? Well, it looks like punishment, or it looks like retracting love, or it looks like criticism, or it looks like picking on you, or it looks like abandonment, or it looks like whatever. Regardless, the message is clear. If I don't perform this, then I'm not worthy. And there's this huge gap that sets me up to fail from the beginning, right? So I think if you're following, a lot of us get that in childhood. So what does that have to do with adult relationships and this redemption journey shit? Like, what is that? What do you notice about the people who go above and beyond for these people who treat them like shit? In my experience, normally we put that person on a pedestal. It's almost like we think that person is out of our league, and like we have to measure up in order to be worth it for them, right? Almost like we're recreating that gap from childhood. It's our second chance. It's our redemption. It's our way to prove that we can finally perform well enough to be worthy of love. When I was stuck in this shit, I was so busy asking why she was chasing after someone who treated her like shit that I didn't even realize that I was doing the same thing, chasing after her when she was treating me like shit. In retrospect, I think we were all just on some type of redemption journey, trying to be worthy of love through performing whatever. And the thing about it that makes it like so sad is that the game is genuinely rigged, because none of it was true to begin with. Love never required our performance. Relationships require effort, but effort and performance are two different things. Love never required our performance. It never required us to be someone different. We were always worthy from the beginning. We just weren't taught that we were. And so
Okay, so I love this. Super duper healthy, super informative. But okay, so what can you do with this information? My advice to you with this information, to put it in simplest terms for you, when you're looking for a partner, find you a guy that likes you a little bit more than you like him, that will go above and beyond for you just a little bit more than you will for him. Not that you don't care about him, not that you don't like him, not that you don't want him or want to be in a relationship with him, but just that you know, deep down in your heart, he wants this relationship just a little bit more than you, as much as you want it yourself. Why? Because it puts you in the position of having him feel like you're just a tad bit out of his league. Just enough that he feels that subconscious pressure to continue doing things to please you and make you happy in the relationship. Why? Because that's when you will be at your most peaceful, capable of existing properly in your feminine. Okay? Because in the opposite sense, if you choose a partner that makes you feel anxious and insecure, like you need to live up to something, like you're always on edge, you will never be able to exist in your feminine energy, because you'll always be on edge trying to chase him, trying to prove something to him, trying to, get him to like you just as much as you like him. That can be intoxicating and addicting, but you don't ever get to exist in your feminine energy, which will be very frustrating for you. Okay, so that's kind of the actionable item there for you in order to take from. And I know it sounds bad. Oh, find someone that likes you a little bit more than you like them. But honestly, for you as a woman, you'll be happier in a relationship like that. You truthfully will be, for the long term at least, right? Here's the thing. I don't know if she ever speaks her piece. I think she just plays the whole scene out. I'll kind of summarize the rest of what happens here. They eventually break up. And long story short, he's unhappy with the fact that she took a nap while his parents were over. Now, she did obviously speak to his parents and have a conversation with them. She said for like 4 hours. And after that, she was tired. She had a long day. She had a lot to do, and she wanted to go to bed at some point. She couldn't continue to just be there talking forever. Now, I'm assuming you guys sent me this to get my opinion on this because I've watched this whole episode. This is an episode of Love is Blind, by the way, for those of you who are unaware. Love is Blind is a dating show on Netflix, so you can watch that if you want to see the whole kind of how this all transpired. Here's the thing with that. I actually don't think this is necessarily a case of avoidant and secure. I actually think this is just a case of two different personality types. I don't think these are attachment styles because the expectation he had of her was that my parents and my family is really important to me, so you should try and be up for as long as possible because any other day you can sleep. And her own perspective is, damn, I mean, I'm meeting your parents, but that's not the be all and end all of my life. And I'm also tired as well. Okay. So really and truthfully, there is no right or wrong person here. They're both right in their own way. But the communication is what helps both parties come to a compromise. Okay. It's not really as simple as black and white. So I actually don't think like, for example, him being a avoidant man is what makes this situation a situation, or her being secure or anything like that. I simply just think in terms of communication when it comes to relationships, there's a process of I want things, you also want things. For both of us, in order for us to both get some of the things that we both want that are important to us, we have to find a way to work together to come to that answer, whatever it may be. Because it can't just be what I want and it can't just be what you want. But there is some medium here where we can both feel satisfied with what we got out of this and come to an understanding and both feel happy with this. And the mistake here is not in attachment styles. The mistake here is not being clear on both parties in communicating what are my expectations and what do I desire from this situation, okay? Because if your partner cares about you and wants to make you happy as well, they will have no problem coming to an understanding that works for you and also works for them, okay? So I don't think this has anything to do with attachment styles, because an avoidant is not going to sit there and talk to you about how they feel and what they want and what they expected or why they were upset. An avoidant is quite literally just going to avoid you and not speak up about this or express, how he felt, right? So that's not really the attachment style there, or how they would respond, right?
The reason why you acting like that is because ain't nobody done whooped your ass in a minute. I'm here to give ass whoopings to everybody. Belt to ass immediately. All y'all finna get this shit, because none of y'all know how to listen. There's too many of y'all that ran around with no whooping. I'm finna whoop the reason why you act.
Who sent this to me? One of you. One of you hooligans sent this to me. You need to get your ass whooped.
I have called you 5 fucking times. 5 times. This is the shit that pisses me off. I don't want to hear you had your fucking ringer off, because you already know how that situation goes. If I call you and you don't fucking answer. That's the shit that I have called you 5 fucking times.
I feel so sad when I see this. You want to know why this makes me really sad, and this is very tragic for me? Because in the comments, I wish you could see this. I wish you could see these comments, chat. In the comments, top comment here, men like this, I've been suppressing myself this whole time. And it makes me feel horrible, because I know some of you that do see stuff like this think to yourselves, oh my gosh, I should be more crazy. Because clearly the men love it when we're crazy. They love it when they see how much we care. Maybe I should show them more that we care. Look at this video.
This is the shit that pisses me off. I don't want to hear you had your fucking ringer off, because you already know how that situation goes. If I call you and you don't fucking answer. That's the shit that I have called.
You want to know what this actually is? I'm going to explain this to you, and this is going to sound graphic. Those of you who are on the younger side, exit. This is an emotional wank off. Okay? That's what's happening here. That's why he's laying down like this. He's getting think of it like this. Your hand is on his mind and you're wanking him off. You're wanking his brain off. This is an emotional wank off. Why? Because everything that you're doing for him is stroking him, not what's in between his and inside his pants, right? But in his mind, you're stroking it. You're stroking the ego. Right? You're telling him how important he is to you. You're telling him how you think about him every second of every day, and there's no one else more important in your life than him. Thinking about what he's doing, triangulating his position, trying to put this together and that together and figure out this Scooby-Doo clue and that Scooby-Doo clue. And so you're calling him now. Where is he? What are you doing? Where have you been? Blah, 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 blah. I checked this and I checked that location and I checked that. And you know what he's doing? You want to know? I'll tell you just a small little story here. I have a friend, right? And we're in the car and there's a girl that he doesn't particularly want to date, but she really likes him and cares about him. So he goes out and he doesn't tell her. And we're hanging out or whatever. At some point throughout the night, she calls him and figures out that he's out, right? And at the point where she figures out that he's out and she calls him upset, why the hell are you going out to here and there? You said that you were going to be at home, sleep, going crazy. You're probably wondering, well, how do I know that? I know that because when she called him, he's like, watch, she's going to go crazy. Boop. And he put the phone on speaker for me and the other guys that were in the group that we were all hanging out with to hear because he knew she was going to go crazy. You want to know why he shared that with us of her going crazy? Because he was stroking himself by letting all of his other guys know, look how crazy she's going for me. That's how you know I'm laying that schlong down on her. You know them girls don't go crazy unless you laying that down on them. Now, obviously, he's not saying that, but it's understood by all the other guys because the guys are also receiving that as, damn, she crazy for you, bro. She crashing out for you. What you done? Because you want to know what happens after you hang up that phone, right? What happens after that? We go, oh man, what did you do to her? Nah, bro, you're different. You on some demon time, right? And it's more stroking, right? Everyone's stroking him now. You're stroking him. His boys are stroking him. Everyone's stroking him because now he feels like the man because you called going insane, ballistic, crashing out about how you want him to come home and why isn't this and why isn't that, thinking that you're doing something by showing him how crazy you are. And all you did was actually give him a positive feedback loop on why he should continue making you go crazy. Okay? Ali even said it there. They're making fun of you. When you peep stuff, all right, I'm not saying you can't have emotions and you can't be upset, but when you peep stuff, learn the process of staying put, staying calm, cool, and collected, gathering information until you peep so much that your decision becomes, I'm walking away. That's how you deal with stuff in a way that serves you best, right? Because you don't call someone, go crazy on them, and then forgive them. You want to call someone, right? You want to gather information until you realize what the best next course of action is, okay? And especially when you go crazy, and remember, like we always say, whoever has the most information wins. When you go crazy, what are you not doing? Gathering information. Simultaneously, what are you also doing? You're showing your hand. What you want, what you expect, what you've seen, what information you've gathered, and then he gets to counter that. As opposed to being cool, calm, and collected, not saying anything, continuing to gather information, and them slipping up and telling you more than they ever intended to tell you. Okay? So, funny enough, if you actually want to be an FBI agent, you don't say nothing, even when you peep it. You just continue gathering information until you have the whole picture. That's how you really be an FBI agent. This going crazy stuff ain't going to get you nowhere, and it's not going to make you any more attractive. It's actually going to make you more unattractive. Okay?
So I made a video that basically said women have more power in dating before sex and men have more power after sex. Moral of that story was, if you're dating a man and you want to get to a relationship stage with him, the best thing you can do to help yourself is to keep your legs closed. Respectfully, I don't need the dissertations. You're never going to change my mind. But no judgment. I'm down with women from the city girl to the wife, baby. Do what you got to do. These men are hell. And I just saw a lot of these types of comments, which this young lady says, this saddens me because you need to do it at some point. By that, she means have sex. By which point your power will diminish significantly. Then you have to fight for your life after to preserve that power. And this saddens me so much because I feel like in the dark kind of toxic nature of dating today, so many people have forgotten that dating is supposed to be fun. When you're building something with someone who you're compatible with, it's going to feel like walking on sunshine. But what we do as women is continue to invest in the wrong situations, because even though we're seeing the red flags up front, we're seeing it from the perspective of, oh, let me just give it a chance. You know, that's happened now. Let me just no, hello. When you see red, you're supposed to stop, ladies. Red, stop. Ladies, let me be real with you. Dating is not one and done. You might have to date 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 men before you find the one for you.
70, crazy.
Where you are going wrong is you are A, sleeping with these men. I almost skipped that. Stop sleeping with these men. But B, you're staying too long in the wrong situations. Your turnover rate is supposed to be swift. Your tolerance for the bullshit needs to...
I would love to know what Bess thinks about dating multiple men at the same time, because the reason that I say that turnover rate is a lot, actually. I know some of you think that it's easier to not be so focused on any one individual man when you're dating multiple, but it's also easier to allow men to stay in your life that aren't what you're looking for when you're dating multiple. Why? Because you have other men who can fill in those gaps. And you're going to be more frustrated if a man comes into your life and he's the wrong man for you if you're only dating one at a time, because then it becomes very obvious to you, you're missing qualities that I need, and I can't be fooling around with you until maybe one day you show me those qualities. So you start to become very irritable when dating. And I mean that in kind of like a good sense. You're irritable from the standpoint of you don't want to waste any amount of time. Because if you're only going to be dating one at a time, you want to know if this is working for your benefit or if it's not. And then once it stops seeming like it's working for your benefit, you immediately want to move forward and not waste more time on that same one person. And so that's kind of why, that's the whole idea of why I say, I'm not saying you tell each individual man, I'm only dating you and I'm only invested in you and I only want you and I don't want to look at anyone else or even think about being with another man. No, you're not saying that. You don't have to let all your cards out to the guys you're dating. You know that you're doing that if you're starting to go on multiple dates with a guy, right? And when you start to go on the multiple dates with the guy, you observe as much as you can observe, take in as much information as you can. And if you spot that he's not who you're looking for, done immediately. Move on to the next one. You don't have to apologize to people for it not working out.
And women think because they keep meeting these dusty, crusty men, they start to lower that. No, baby, hold on. Like, just keep going. What you are looking for is a diamond in the rough. It's going to take a while to find it. Ladies, please stop settling because it's taken a long time. Stop. It's going to take a long time. Why would it not take a long time to find someone that you are physically attracted to, emotionally attracted to, in a similar place of life, so you're not having financial issues? He respects you as a woman, you respect him as a man, you accept each other, you see each other for the difficult parts of you that have come about as a result of your trauma. Like, how is that going to take 5 minutes to find? Like, ladies, I am begging you, because we really, myself included, be lying down with our ops. Because for what? Some of these men want us dead. Like, some men have been through so... You don't know what some men have been through. You don't know how some men see women. You're not qualified. Stop trying to fix people. You are not... I promise you, you do not have the qualifications that man needs to become a normal...
You don't have the resources for that, big man.
...functioning member of society. So just date men. Just get to know them. Just spend time with them. Just conversate with them. And let me tell you, every day with a man is supposed to be a brand new test. And he needs to fail every day to go to the next level. If you get to day 14 and he fails, you don't give him credit for days 1 to 13. He either is on his final warning for that offense or he's out. And if that's his final warning, it better be his final warning.
Damn, she almost came out with a damn American accent. She was so mad on that one. Okay. I like what Bess is saying here, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. And someone asked earlier, they said, oh, well, so are we not allowed to have a roster? My advice to you, and this is from my own experience, my experience with other people, and helping hundreds of women as well since doing the show. When you start having a roster of men, it will be very easy to say, I have a roster, this guy does this well, he does this bad though. but this other guy, guy number 2, does this well, what the other guy does bad, and so on and so on and so forth. And you'll start filling in, right, what you want from a guy and from a man. You'll take all of the best parts of all of those guys and you'll create one guy that you like out of those 5 guys. The problem is, unless you're polyamorous, you're only going to end up with one guy. So in the end, you have to choose someone who has qualities that you like, but also some qualities that you really dislike. And in some cases, those might be qualities that you dislike so much that you can't even have a sustainable relationship with that person. And so then that inherently means of those 5 men, you're actually dealing with 5 men who you will never see a future with. So you're taking the opportunity of wasting your time and you're timesing it by 5 because none of those guys by themselves are what you want exactly. All of those guys combined are what you want maybe when they're on the roster and you're able to rotate them. But just as a singular partner, none of those guys are really what you're looking for in a long-term serious relationship. So you tell me, if you're spending time with 5 men who are all kind of what you're looking for, but by themselves, they're not what you're looking for, do you think that's wasting your time or do you think that's a good use of your time? You tell me. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm confused, but that logic and that math doesn't really make sense to me, okay? And with the roster, like I say, you're going to be so much more inclined to just say it's whatever. I don't really care. Who cares? I have another one waiting for me, right? And you're just going to keep letting the guys go through without properly just saying it's done. I cut it off now.
How would you define love?
When you truly love somebody, truly, here's the thing about love. Love is unconditional. That's the first thing I want to say.
Is it really?
Love is unconditional. If it's conditions on it, it ain't love. It's a contract. And that's okay if both of you agree on those terms. She may.
Oh, sorry. Let me even mention this as well. I believe that for the men as well. The men that think that they should date a roster of women and find the right one. Even, no diss to Dr. Umar, but even Dr. Umar, he doesn't believe that the men, the high value men, should just be dating and be with one woman. Okay. If that's how he wants to live his life, that's fine. But what ends up, if you ever watch him talk about why he doesn't believe you should date, any one woman, he also says, oh, well, I like some things about this girl and some things about this woman. And, together they make the woman that I want. Once again, you're basically saying that none of those people by themselves as an individual is who I'm looking for. But if I combine them all into one human being, it's just so silly. If I combine them all into one human being, then they'll be like what I'm looking for. Okay.
You may agree. We have a pleasure contract. We got an economic contract where you're going to take care of me. And as long as you take care of me, I'm going to be your woman. The Puff Daddy arrangement. You feel me? That works for some people. No, you have women like that. You have men like that.
Right.
I'm going to floss you up. And as long as I floss you up, you're going to be loyal to me. But that's a contract. That's not love. Contracts are different from love. Why? Contracts are conditional. Right. Love is unconditional. If I love my queen, what if she comes home one day and say, hey, baby, I don't want to work this. I don't want to be a lawyer no more. But if I only married her because I like the way her law degree looks on Dr. Umar in public, you see how this goes? She's changing. But if I love her, okay, baby, that's what you don't want to do. You want to go into something else? Let's do it. Love is when you love somebody, you are 100% unapologetically and unconditionally committed to that person's best interest, even if it is to your loss. What if your fiance come home and say, listen, babe, I had a long conversation with my ex-husband. I never thought I would look at this again, but we left a lot on the table together. I enjoyed the time we had. I think that man might still be my soulmate. I got to move on. I might still hurt because I loved her, right? But if that love is true, if you feel that's who you meant to spend the rest of your life with, I gotta love you and want the best for you. Most of us cannot do that. What we call love is limited to your investment in me. You see that?
Yeah.
Anytime they step outside of the box we created for them, we get angry because that was not love. You had conditions on it. Your woman gained 20 pounds. Now you're going to divorce her. You say, if you gain another 20 pounds, this marriage is over. That was not love. That was a contract because it had conditions. If I love that woman unconditionally, whether she gained 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, I'm not going nowhere. Now, we might need to have a conversation about her health. because I want you around for our children to get married. You understand?
Right.
But there's no such thing as ending a relationship because you stepped outside of my perfect box if you loved her. Love is unconditional. And most of what we got in the Black community are contracts disguised as loving relationships.
Okay, so something I want to comment on here and what Dr. Umar said. To a certain degree, yes. But you also have to understand in our relationships, we're all supposed to fulfill specific roles. And if those roles that we're supposed to fill as, you know, masculine energy, as men, as women, as feminine energy, if those roles change or we're no longer able to fulfill them to the point where it becomes impossible to maintain a relationship, well, then that becomes a tough ask. For example, let's say for the sake of example, you're dating a guy and this guy, he's just an average guy, nothing too crazy. And he, works an average 9-to-5 job. But let's say for the sake of example, he gets in a fight, he starts, doing drugs and, his life is kind of in shambles and he loses his job. So he's jobless for 1 year. Okay, whatever, work through it, credit card debt, whatever. Then he's jobless for 2 years. Then he's jobless for 3 years. And then he says, you know what? I don't even want to bother finding a job. I'm just going to be at home here and, just figure out some stuff and hang out. At a certain point, it becomes, well, I love you and I do really want the best for you and for your life. But if you think that the best thing for your life is to sit at home and do nothing, you're no longer fulfilling your role or your obligation as a man in a relationship. And if you can't, then I'm going to eventually have to go in a different direction. So, we can call it contracts and be really specific about it, but we all do have roles to fill in relationships. And if you can't live up to that, well, then there's consequences for that one way or another. So I don't think I think there is truth to that, but I also don't think that that's all the way true in the sense that what is love supposed to be? Do whatever you want, however you want to do it, whenever you want to do it. And I'm supposed to still love you still anyways, because that's not realistic, right? I'm supposed to love you while you hurt me and do the worst to me. I'm supposed to love you if your decision actually has a negative impact on my life or my family or my children. It just, that doesn't make sense, okay? So yes, there are conditions, even in love, but accepting that and realizing that is also understanding that, yes, while you love me and you care about me and you want the best for me, there is still an understanding that in our relationship, we will both fulfill our roles to a certain extent. Now, sometimes we might not be able to fulfill it as much as other times, but if there's no effort being made or put forward towards trying to fulfill that role or be that person that our partner needs, or actively doing things against or to hurt our partner, you can't still expect unconditional love from that person. That's not to me, that's not realistic there. Okay. It's like saying, oh yeah, come and hold a gun to my head and, threaten me and be horrible to me. And I'll still love you anyways because love. That's ridiculous, right? To me, at least.
I went on a date with a guy and he waited 24 hours after the date to text message me. Notice my language. Men are intentional. He waited 24 hours, okay? He absolutely knew I had a good time, okay? He knew I was probably excited to hear from him again. They are playing their games from the beginning. And if you have an issue with that, you need to get out of here before I block you. Because I love to play games with men. I'm very petty. I own this about myself. Kraljica petty. So since he waited 24 hours, I looked at the message. It was at 8 o'clock at night. I was like, okay, I will be responding in 24 hours. I match literal hours.
So she went exactly 8 o'clock.
And so what happens for men when you do that is they're used to getting an immediate response because so many women don't want to play games. You want to show them you're excited and that you're receptive and that you appreciate them. Don't do that. So what happens for them when you're not immediately responsive is the first, 4 to 6 hours, it's all good. They know you're busy too. They know you've got a life. But around, half a day or it starts getting into the evening, they start getting anxious of, oh, maybe she didn't have such a good time. Maybe she's got other guys. Maybe I smelled a little funny. Maybe my ears, I need to get them pinned. Although men don't think about that. I think they should. Sometimes tangent.
I actually think that's wrong. I actually think when you give men enough space to have anxiety, they do have anxiety. Men just don't admit it and speak it out openly. They also have anxiety, which is precisely why when I communicate to you guys how to respond and treat men and go about stuff, I know that men go through a thought process that they just don't communicate to you because they don't want you to know their thought process. They want you to think they're hard and don't have emotions. They do. They just don't communicate them.
But it starts to create anxiety in them, the same feelings that these men were generating in you. They have to be with that. Their discomfort builds, but they like this. You have to understand, this is the difference between men and women. We like the security, whereas a lot of them, they enjoy the anxiety, the stress, the discomfort of not knowing whether or not you're a sure thing. And a word I don't hear used often enough amongst the women empowerment ladies, as far as you should call him because it's empowering and don't play games. No, there's also you as a woman have to be patient if you're going to deal with men. You have to, and be patient with yourself. So I wasn't actually that surprised when he sends me 3 text messages, okay, after blowing me off, because they get scared and then they overcompensate. So just watch for this behavior. I think it's comedic at this point. But if you're going to deal with men, you know, you can't pretend. Dr. Shania did a really good post about this. Good luck to those of you who want to pretend that there is no game. I went on a date.
You either get what you want by understanding how it works and implementing it into your life, or you can decide to say, I don't want to play games. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I just want things to happen naturally, and I want to be upfront and honest about how I feel. Cool. Be upfront and honest about how you feel. Send those men text messages over explaining, oh, so I wanted this and I was expecting that when after our date, you would send me a message right after and check if I got home. And I just feel like since you didn't send me a message and it was a whole 24 hours since the last time that you texted me, I feel like you're not really that interested, or maybe you didn't like the date that we went on. And so I'm just sending you this long text message to explain to you how I feel and what I think since the last time that we spoke and how I feel like you should respond a little bit faster so that I can know and feel comfortable. You send that text message thinking that you explained and were super upfront with everything that you felt and exactly how, you know, laid it out perfectly. And you want to know what he responds with? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Or he says, okay, whatever. And he doesn't address or change anything about what he's doing. In fact, it probably gets worse after that. So I guess you can continue being upfront. We'll see what response you get from people instead, and we'll see which women have the men crawling on glass and sniffing their butthole, okay? Let's hop into our next segment of the day here, which is our special segment, okay? Let me know in the chat if you know what time it is. It's a very special time, okay? It's an amazing time. It's a time where you're going to laugh and you're going to cry, okay? You should know what time it is by now. If you don't, I'm going to tell you, don't look at your clock. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else in your home. It's a special time. It's an amazing time. If you don't know the time, I'm going to tell you the time. It's Discord time! Okay, chat, let's hop into our Discord time. For those of you who are unaware, I'll explain this to you real quick. Discord time is where all the members of our Players Club Discord community get an opportunity to ask me a question about their relationship or their situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, you have a couple of ways of sending in your question. You can either do that through our free relationship advice section, which is right up here, and you can send in your message through our TikTok bio, or through our link in my bio on YouTube, link in my description, sorry, on YouTube. You send in your message to our free relationship advice forum here and format it right, and I will answer it live on the show. Now, you also have another option if you want to skip the line of people because you don't want to wait or you want to make sure I answer it on today's show. You can always go into Relationship Advice Premium here, and all you got to do to get access to Premium is go to the link in my bio on TikTok or link in my description, click where it says Premium Relationship Advice. All you got to do is donate to the show. When you donate to the show, you're going to put in the title of your question and your username. And then when you do that, I can confirm that's you, and I'll make sure that your question gets answered before I go into the free section, okay? You also have an option to do a private relationship question if you want to send me a question, but you don't want everyone else to see it on the show. And you just want me to give you my advice on what I think you should do or how I think you should proceed. So you can do that also by in the TikTok bio or the link in my description on YouTube. And then when you send in your question, I send you a voice message and I send it back to you via your email. No one else sees it except for me, okay? Let's hop into our premium question here and answer this one first, which comes from Didi, okay? So Didi says, I'm done. What do I do with his stuff? Oh boy. Okay, this is going to be one of them ones. I'm disappointed in myself. At 29, I let a 35-year-old man who lives on Snapchat play me for the last 4 months. Okay, so this is gonna you've come to some realizations here. I can tell in your message already that you're heated and okay. All right. I thought I was immune to manipulation, but I was wrong. We met on a dating app. I thought you said he lives on Snap. Okay, so you're saying you met on a dating app, but he spends all his time on Snapchat. Okay, this is horrible. Horrible. We met on a dating app 3 years ago. I no longer use those, and he disrespected me early on. Even though I had already slept with him, I stopped all contact. But he came back in June just before my birthday, and I let him in again. Things got worse. He picked my self-worth, always making hurtful jokes. I think so he picked at my self-worth, always making hurtful jokes and set double standards. He could still sleep around with other people, but I couldn't. An open relationship, but open one-sided, right? While he was in a basic, I still don't date anyone else type of thing. Sent him letters and scriptures every day. You're talking about scriptures from the Bible? This man was sleeping with other women and you're sending him scriptures from the Bible? I hope you're talking about scriptures from somewhere else. Not scriptures from the Bible or from the Quran. Please, no, I hope not. Every day, and he would always write back. During that time, my delusion grew, and I really thought, even though I was settling, the screenshots, oh, wow, we're in for a doozy. Just buckle in, chat. We're in for a doozy in this one. Even though I was settling, I could make it work. What? Even though I was settling, I could make it work. You should never have that mind frame towards never in a million years. I attached screenshots of my last time begging. Wow. Thank you for helping the chat, because this takes courage to be honest about how you messed up. I sent screenshots of my last time begging for the barest minimum from him right after he got out of basic and got his phone back. What do you mean he got out of basic? What does that mean? He left me on red, but was still active on IG, okay, Instagram, for those of you who don't know what that means. I stopped answering his calls and muted him on Instagram. I'm ready to pretend he never existed, but I have his golf clubs and other items, okay? Oh, people said basic training, so he's in the, okay, military, yeah, okay. Interesting, all right. I don't want to pay to ship them back. He has my Cash App, but I resent it just in case he hasn't sent the money. I suspect he'll use this as a way to stay in touch. What should I do? Let's read the message first, and then we'll get to everything. Okay, so this is wow. Okay, I'm going to attempt to open this in our, because I really want you guys to actually see this here. So we're gonna bring this over here. And I'm going to, I really need you guys to see this here. We're gonna look at this together. Let's see here. And we're going to kind of get a sense of what's going on here. Because this is craziness. I want us to read this together. Let me kind of make this smaller. Okay. Righty. And we're gonna go through this one here. Okay. Wow. All right. Let me put it for you guys on TikTok because you guys can't see it on TikTok. Add a window capture. There you go. And I'll make this smaller for you guys here as well, so you can see what's going on TikTok. Okay. Oops. Where'd it go? There we go. Okay. So we're going to go through message number 1 here. This is you begging, as you said. Okay. Wow. Let me put this in the right place. All right. So we're kind of going to read through this real quick. I wanted everyone to be able to see this. About to head out. So then he says, you say, I don't need you to fit some fairy tale idea of what. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Okay, perfect. You say, I don't need you to fit some fairy tale idea of what I think a husband should be. I need the basics, Habibi. So it was scriptures you were sending him from the Quran. Laid forth by God. I need a protector, a provider, and I need you to love me as... sorry. Scriptures you were sending from the Bible. Sorry, my mistake. As Christ loved the church. This is bad. I'm glad you sent this in. This is very bad. I'm not asking for the world here. Our communication is limited. AF now. So when we do have it, we have to take advantage of it. If there's something wrong, I need you to tell me. So now you're putting bullet points here to it. Oh God. I'm glad you sent this in. I want everyone else to see this so we can all understand how things can go very wrong very fast. You're now sending bullet points to explain to him the different ways that you feel now. I don't feel loved when you tell me you are going to call me back and I don't hear from you. I don't feel loved when you have the ability to call me now for a short period of time and you choose not to. I don't feel loved when you have the opportunity to tell me you love me and you don't. So oh God, I'm so glad you sent this in. This is very bad. This is very bad. And I just realized this. I don't think some of you guys took this in. He sent his message at 1:59 a.m. So the next day when you woke up in the afternoon, you sent him a message at 12:30 p.m. He doesn't even respond. I was thinking the green was from him, and then I realized the green is your message again. So 5 hours goes by after you send this well thought out. You probably put this in your notes. You research the scripture and the chapter and the verse that you're sending him to make sure that, you know, when he reads it, he gets it all and it all makes sense and it all connects. You sent that out. 5 hours. He doesn't even respond to you. Let's look at the next. Let's look at the next one here. Let me make sure I open this for you guys. Oh wow, chat. We have to go through this. We have to. This is very necessary for what we're doing here. So this is your message after 5 hours has passed, and you sent him that well thought out message about the scripture, about how you feel about this and how you feel about that, how you're not feeling loved. You say, "I see you made it. Please let me know where I can send your clubs. There is a UPS close to me, or if you want me to give them to your cousin or someone that works too." So you're now having a conversation with yourself because you told him how you feel. He completely ignored it. And now you're talking about how to send the clubs and things like that. You're sending him now a Google Maps of a UPS store. Oh, boy. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just shocked that this is the response. I feel your hostility, he says, from over 1,000 miles away. And then he sends you the amount of... I have to stand. I can't do this. The man sent you the amount of miles away that you... Oh! Thank you so much, Dee. Thank you for sending in this message. You are doing something very good here, okay? Not only are we going to help you, we're using this as an example to help everyone. You did a very good deed. I'm so glad you sent in. I'm going to do a stretch, but I'm so glad you sent this in. I'm going to stretch out here on the floor. Okay, gonna stretch out my back because I'm gonna need it. This is not even the last screenshot here. Okay, gonna make sure I get a good stretch in. All right. Oh boy. All right. Very good that you sent this in. I'm very glad. Okay. All right. You're gonna get scolded, but you'll learn, and everyone else will learn as well what not to do. Okay. We're gonna see firsthand why we don't do this. He told you. I hope you guys can see this. I really would hope. For those of you on TikTok, I hope you guys can see that part right there. He sent you the amount of miles he is away from you as a response to you telling him how you feel unloved, unappreciated, unseen, right? In this relationship and all the things you want to change. And his response to you was to send you... Oh, God. What? I was not expecting this. I tell you, boy. Wow. So let's go on to the next message here. Wow. So you say no hostility, no drama. This is your response to him. Just let me know when you get the address. If I was interested in being hostile, I wouldn't try to return your clubs. He responds to you, copy. Oh boy. I know that when you're upset, you want to express everything that you feel and tell a guy off or tell him why he's wrong and have him see that. The problem is, though, when guys don't care, they just don't care. And there's no way to send them a message that will make them care. There's no way to do your big, dramatic speech, your soliloquy like you're in a play, like you're in Shakespeare, and have him then feel the impact of how you feel. When they just don't care, and this is where we kind of have to get out of the fantasy in our minds that our life is like a movie and realize that in real life, when people don't care about you or your happiness or about making you happy, they just don't care. So there's nothing you say or do that makes them care. So all of the work that you put into trying to help them understand or whatever it may be, it just doesn't work. So his response to you was copy, nothing else. You then go on, it's crazy. You're trying to help him deliver his clubs to him. Even though he's showing you he cares nothing about you, you're still trying to put forth the effort to return something that belongs to him that you have of his. Instead of taking that energy back for yourself. Now, I know you sent in this message because you know, like, you're done with the situation, but I just want you, in order to dissect what's going on, I want you to take notice. He's showing you, I don't give a damn about you. I don't care about these clubs. I don't care about what you're even saying. And you're still thinking to yourself, I want to figure out how I can get you these clubs. Why are you caring more about his golf clubs than he even does? Going from a normal, easy, soft life to military formations and being treated like an 18-year-old over again as a 35-year-old is kind of tough mentally. Sir, we appreciate you serving the country, but what are we supposed to do? Okay? That's what you should be thinking. Okay? If he's going to give you a sob story, like, what are you supposed to do? He chose to serve the country. You're supposed to be responsible for that? Emotionally and physically. It's kind of insensitive and wild to expect the same person that went in 3 months ago to be the same person 3 months after, especially after all the ish they've been through, seen, done, etc. I don't get my address P.O. box till Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know because the military never gives definitive dates or times for anything. Also, I find it kind of weird that you get upset that I'm not talking to you when I call. So there's more here, obviously. Let's go to the next part. When I call, oops, where did it go? Oh, yeah. When I call 3 times now, you don't answer. But thanks for everything you've done and been to me. When I get the address, I'll send that to you and you can ship out the clubs. Until then, I hope you take good care of yourself. I hope your response to this was nothing. I would hope, because there's no need to respond to this anymore. And I see some more of a message down there. Okay, let's see what he says, what else he says. Okay. You can take the clubs out of the bag and use that to start your collection if you want. Let me know the total price when you're sending. Is this for real? You're actually coordinating with him the price of the clubs. I'm sending all of them. The total is $178. Gotcha. Let me know once sent. This is craziness. Okay, so that was all that you sent in terms of messages here, okay? Didi. Boy, I tell you, boy. I know you know that you made a mistake, okay? Let me get this off the screen here. I know that you know you made a mistake, okay? We don't have to rehash that. Never do this again. And please, for the rest of you, let this be a lesson. Whenever you try to get a guy to see what mistakes he's making and how little he's caring or taking care of the relationship, it's always going to be a waste of your time. Especially when the reason you're saying that is because you feel like he doesn't care. I don't know how else to explain this or help you guys understand it. It's a waste of your time to send those long soliloquy messages trying to tell him this and tell him that, especially when you're doing that as a way to kind of like a last-ditch effort to try to get him to make a change. Men do not change because you beg them to change. They change because they realize they will not get something that they want if they do not change. They change out of necessity, feeling like if they don't make a change, they will not get access to someone they want, they'll not be able to be with someone they want, or they'll not have the life that they want. That's why when you break up with a man and you actually walk away, all of a sudden they're ready to do all the things you've been asking for. Because when you walk away, you actually show them that it's necessary to make a change. It's not just you yapping. When you're yapping, they don't think it's necessary to make a change because they just hear you yapping, but they don't see you leaving. You got to show men that you're leaving, not have them hear you yapping. They don't take that seriously because it doesn't make them feel like they need to change. So now your question here is essentially, what do I do with this stuff? Honestly, I wouldn't even bother yourself doing like why are you honestly, like truthfully, if I was you, okay, and I was in your situation, I would just honestly throw the clubs away. Okay. And actually, to be honest with you, I've done something like that before. If I'm talking to you or whatever, and, you know, I get you're being a nice person and you just, want to figure this out and things like that because you don't want to just throw them away or whatever. you gave him an opportunity to send the clubs the first time, right? Oh, I'm going to send you back your clubs, whatever. If he didn't, respond to you or tell you how to do that, at a certain point, you just throw them in the bin or whatever, or sell them, whatever you want to do. Okay. My personality, I just throw them away. I don't want to bother selling people. I don't give a damn. But I know everyone's not me. So in terms of, he told you where to send them. Now, this is my only thing. This process should be him figuring out this process. I don't think it's necessary for you to be doing all the emailing, understanding what's going on, figuring out this and figuring out that, okay? And for the most part, I feel it seems like you're sending him the clubs and he's going to reimburse you, right? So you tell him what you should do if you want logistics here. You tell him this is the price. You send me the money for the clubs, right? Exactly what it costs to ship them, and then I will ship them to you, okay? So until you send me the money for the price, then I will ship them to you. If you do not send me that money, I will take it as if you don't care about it. And here's the other thing. You're not going to continuously ask him, when do you want me to ship? When do you want me to ship? You haven't sent the money. You haven't sent the money. If 1 or 2 weeks goes by, and let's just make it simple. If 1 week goes by, 7 days, and he hasn't responded to you or said, hey, I need your Cash App because I want to send you the money so that I can get these clubs or whatever. If in 1 week he doesn't do that, throw the clubs away. Then if he messages you after that, you tell him, bro, I gave you your opportunity to pay for the clubs and get them shipped. You said nothing. You think I'm going to be... You're supposed to be on the phone. When do you want to get your clubs sent? Or do you want your clubs now? Do you want your clubs? What time do you want? What the hell? What is this? This ain't that. Okay. If he wants his clubs back, you've made him aware. You will send them. This is the price. If he can't figure out how to get you the money or how to organize the logistics of getting you the money so you can ship them, that's his problem. Okay. You got to stop feeling sorry for people who don't give a damn about you. You told him already where the club situation is. You told him what the price is. You don't need to be doing any more messaging. The only next message you send him back is okay when he says, I'm sending this to your Cash App. Or where should I send the money? That's the only time you respond to him. And if in a week's time he has nothing to say to you because he's in the military, he's stressed out, he's doing this mission, he's doing that mission, he's here, he's there, cool. It wasn't that important to you anyways. I have to move on with my life. Sorry. It's not like you're going to talk to him anyways, right? You can't feel bad for people who don't even do anything for you in the first place, okay? All right, let's go on to our next question here. That was quite a doozy. Cassandra says, too late to pull back. I'm 24. By the way, chat, if you guys want to send in your questions, make sure you put that into our relationship advice forum here, okay? Link in my bio on TikTok and link in my description on YouTube. Cassandra first, 24, dating a man who's 25 for about a month. So I recently discovered your channel and seeing how I shouldn't be as available through calls and texts. Yes, correct. I've been on one date so far that I yapped till my tongue was dry. Not good. Not good. If you're yapping a lot, you're not learning a lot or gathering a lot of information. So that's very bad. Okay. And he's actually learning a lot about you. And for this past month dating, I've been consistent with calls and texts and calls. Is it still late to pull back and be available for conversation through dates like you mentioned? Haven't done the deed or anything. Just wanted to know if I can be absent so he values me more. Thanks. Also, to add, it's if it's still not late, when does texting me every day and when he does text me every day in the morning, do I just ignore and not say anything until the day or of the date? Kind of confused on this. Let's say the date is at the end of the week. Am I supposed to be distant every day till then, or can I keep the convo short to the days leading up to the date? Appreciate all your work, Tomisin. Okay, let me answer your question up here first. You can reverse this. You don't have to make him aware of it. You just pull back. Meaning, what you do is you just stop having these conversations about life and getting to know him over text. Just do it, right? You have to do anything more than just do it. If he's calling you, Okay, right? If he's calling you, you let him know that you couldn't answer his call at this time. It's not because you didn't want to talk to him. You just couldn't answer his call because you're doing something right now. And if he wants to talk to you, you give him a time where this is a good test, okay? It's going to sound weird. You give him a time where you're available. And then you say, if you want to call me, you can call me during this time, okay? Then let's see if he actually goes through with it, right? Because we don't just want him thinking that, especially at the beginning, you don't want him getting the impression that he can call you or text you at any time and you'll just always be available. We want him getting in the habit of, even when it comes to calls, feeling like he needs to schedule his time with you or make sure you're free before he can get access to you. It's just a good foundation to set for the future. Now, in the second part of your message here, where you're talking about, should I just ignore him after the date or after he plans the date? No, you don't want to ignore him because it might make him feel like you either don't care or you've forgotten yourself. You keep conversation going in the sense that you can still say, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Give basic talk about your day. Maybe send him a picture of what you did today, right? Keep it very simple. You shouldn't have to send more than 10 texts in the day, right? 10 texts from you, maybe 10 texts from him. And that should be the gist of, or the most that you guys are doing in terms of communication throughout the day, okay? The reason I say that is because if you get into the habit of over texting before you get on the date, you'll find that when you finally get on the date, there's less to talk about because you've talked about most of that stuff over text throughout the week, right? And sometimes that can be even stuff as simple as, things that happen to you at work, okay? Don't get into a rush, especially at the beginning, to yap with guys over message about your week or whatever you've gone through, because you want to save some of that back and forth and that, even a funny story, save some of that for the date, right? Let the date be the most interesting aspect of you, right? Because you're also you're training him to recognize that when I have the most fun with you, it comes when we go out on our dates. So what do you think then he's saying to himself if he wants to see more of you? He's going to say, I'm going to ask her out on more dates. If you try to be the most fun person over text, you're going to have him feeling like, damn, I want to keep texting her, not keep going out on dates with her because it's the most fun to see her over text, right? So you keep the conversation going maximum of like 10 texts in the day. You can send him some pictures of some things that you did, right? To show him that you actually have a life and you're doing other things other than just talking to him. But that should be the gist of it, right? Just enough to keep conversation going, but not so much that you're telling your life story over text, all right? Let's go on to our next question here. This one comes from Kendra Butterfly. Oops. Excuse me. This one comes from Kendra Butterfly. What's the significant difference? Good afternoon, Tomisin. I had a question for you. I've been told that there are 5 stages when, I think you meant to say, dating someone. First, there's attraction, then there's dating, then there's exclusivity, then there is a relationship, and then there is marriage. I mean, yeah, pretty straightforward. I think that most of the stages are understood, but when are we in the exclusivity stage? When we are in the exclusivity stage, it's quite confusing because it's also like a relationship. I say that because it's still 2 people dating with no distractions, getting to know each other on a deeper level to see if you can be in an actual relationship. But it's kind of the same to a relationship because either way, you can just go to the relationship. Wait, what? Go to the relationship stage, or if you were in a relationship, you can just break up. Okay. What's the real difference? Can you break down and explain what do you think the significant difference is between exclusivity and the actual relationship? Well, the difference is obviously the title. And then when you go from exclusivity to dating someone, now on his part, at the very least, it's not a contract commitment, right? You're not married under the eyes of the law, but he has a commitment to you in the sense that if you're his girlfriend and he's your boyfriend, now there's an acknowledgement of his commitment to you when he goes out into the world, right? When he introduces you now, there's a different level, right, of priority that gets given to someone who is my girlfriend in my life versus someone who I'm casually seeing, right? Actually, I've talked to you guys about this. I forget what the name of the show was, but when I described to you guys kind of the arc, the trajectory, the graph of how intensity is supposed to build over time from him as you go from being, just a casual person he's dating to eventually being his girlfriend, that's when your access ramps up. So the actual difference here between what should be and just exclusively dating versus girlfriend is the level of access he gets to you. When you become his girlfriend, the level of access he gets to you should take a jump up. All right. Now, I'm not saying that he should get complete 100% available access to you. You drop everything for him. What I'm saying is if you've been pacing the relationship, you should still have some access left to give him for becoming your boyfriend, right? And even when he becomes your boyfriend, there's still some access that you leave on the table that you only give to your husband when you start living with him. And I've talked about that in our show that I had about how to pace men properly in a dating stage or when you're dating them, right? Because you always want to be making sure that as you're seeing him and spending time with him, you're never overdoing it so that by the time you become his girlfriend or by the time you become his wife, there is no difference between you being his girlfriend and being his wife. I even talked to you guys about there's a difference between girlfriend and wife from the standpoint of he's never supposed to be seeing you, right? Or you're never supposed to be sleeping over multiple times of the day where he's seeing you majority of the week, okay? And only when you become a wife can he start seeing you up to 6 times a week, right? Because then obviously you guys are living together and things like that. But there should always be some time left where he doesn't see you, all right? Or like you're away from him doing something else. That way he can actually recognize what it's like to be with you versus what it's like to not be with you, okay? And I know obviously when you're living with someone, it's different. It's hard to see them only 6 times a week, right? Because you're living with them. But I say that to say between exclusivity and between dating, it should be, the difference is access, for you at least. So when he's dating you, he should get a level of access to you that's more than when he's just, seeing you exclusively. So meaning how much he sees you throughout the week is number 1. The amount of time he gets to spend with you on each and every date, number 2. And also, I guess the ways he gets to experience you. So obviously you're going to be more romantic, more intimate, right? You're going to be spending time together in different formats, whether it's you going to spend time with him and his family, him coming to spend time with you and your family, right? Things like that kind of escalate it from, you're not going to be introducing someone who you're not dating to your family, right? So now you're kind of getting into the realm of, okay, you're joining me in my life journey now. You're not just someone that I see in my spare time. We're kind of coordinating, not just, are we going to see each other tomorrow or the next day? We're coordinating what's our schedule going to be like for the next 2 or 3 weeks. What are you doing upcoming here? Do you have do you have vacation coming up in 6 months or in 4 months? We're going to plan our vacation that we're going to take together and, do this or do that, right? Now you're starting to plan well into the future, right? So all of those things lead to more seriousness, more intensity, and kind of more planning and scheduling for the future of where you guys are going to be, not just right now, but in the next couple of weeks and the next couple of months. And on top of that, obviously the access. Okay. Let's do, we'll see. Maybe we can do one more. Okay. We'll do one more. Okay. Green Monkey says, my boyfriend's talking, I think you meant to say talking about his ex excessively. Why is that? Is this a red flag? So what are your thoughts? Okay. Here's the thing. So talking about exes in itself is not a bad thing. However, if a man that you're dating you're your boyfriend, is talking a lot about his ex, right? Just offering up, just excessively talking about her to the point where you're like, I didn't even ask. That's a sign that he's probably still in love with her. It's one thing to ask for information and he's giving it to you because you're asking for it or you're on the subject of it. If he's just like, if you guys are just laying in bed and he's staring at his phone and he's like, yo, my ex used to do this one thing where she would roll around in the bed and I would tie her up like she was, under the blankets like a burrito. And we used to call it a burrito blanket. What the hell? Like, that's weird. Okay. That usually means that he's been thinking a lot about his ex and reminiscing on her. I guarantee you, I'm not saying to do this, But I guarantee you, if you went through his phone, you'd find some damning either messages or pictures of his ex or communication with her or something going on in that realm, okay? And I'm sure if you could reach into his brain and really ask him how he feels about her, you would realize that he still has feelings for her. Because guys aren't, if he's your boyfriend, why would he still be bringing up random stories about him and his ex just excessively? I'm not even talking about to answer a question just for no reason. Right? Understand that that's not an accident there. So do with that information what you will. Okay. Someone says a burrito sounds good right now. That's funny. All right, chat. That's the show for today. If you guys have any questions for me, make sure to send them into our relationship advice section or into our premium section or into our private section. You can do that all by going into the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube and hopping into our Discord. For those of you who are on TikTok and you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is Tomisin_Atub right on top of my head on the top left corner of the screen. It's also in the link in my description if you're watching this from YouTube. For those of you who are on TikTok and you want to rewatch the show on all of the points that we discussed today on today's main show topic, you can do that right above my head on the top right corner of the screen. Just type in my name, Tomisin Atobatele, and then when you go to YouTube, go into the live section. Then you'll be able to watch this live show and all the other live shows I've done since the beginning of time. You'll get the YouTube and the TikTok live chat embedded in the video, so you'll see all the conversation that we're having there, all right? For those of you wondering what time I'm on every weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST. Figure out what time that is in your time zone. Until then, arrivederci. Oh, let me make sure that I do these. Oh my God, you guys didn't tell me. You're supposed to tell me. I want to make sure I acknowledge some of these donations here. Thank you so much. Oh, Suzuki Snow sent in $7 value words of wisdom. Thank you so much, Suzuki Snow. And then she sent in another $7. She said, I'm going to donate here because don't ever get rid of this channel for cases like this. Thank you so much, Suzuki Snow. I appreciate you for your donation, as do I appreciate all of you that donate for the show. All right, chat. I'll be here tomorrow, 4 p.m. EST. Okay, until then, goodbye, au revoir, hasta la vista, sayonara, ciao, salam, arrivederci, adios, bon voyage. Oh, by the way, thank you so much to, who just donated here? Rebecca, who just donated a coral in the TikTok chat. Thank you so much. Love you all. I'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. sharp. Okay. It won't be long. All right. We'll be together again. All right.